not see any other hills or ruins. He saw only more trees. He had now lost the river as well, and soon he would lose any light and chance to get out of the woods. He found a fork in a tree and laid back.
If I'm stuck here, I may as well keep a good view outward.
As the sun sank and a pale moon rose over the trees, he caught a glimmer of water in the far distance. It was a lake. He pulled out his map, but noticed he only had the coastline of this new land. He made out where he might be in reference to time and what he saw, but if this was true, he was stuck between two mountain ranges. He saw a spark of light beneath his feet. He sat up and looked down. It was a fairy, zipping and shooting around the branches, ascending to where he was sitting. It floated in front of him for a moment, and seemed to laugh.
What?
The fairy shook, and then struck him in the head before floating down to the branch below them. He rubbed the spot the fairy had hit.
Do you want me to come to that branch?
The fairy dropped again, and Kealin checked his grip before dropping down branch by branch as the fairy took him to ground level. The sounds of bugs and singing crickets filled the air. An owl screeched in the distance, and he heard the flutter of its wings, and saw a shadow as it flew off. The fairy danced a path through the trees that Kealin followed. He was careful not to get left by the swift sprite. Up a fallen tree and across an offshoot of the river. They then went through an open archway of tree limbs and to rockier ground, where large stones littered the landscape. Climbing up to the top of a boulder, he found that the fairy danced above a stone bridge that led to an open area of green grass, bare of trees. He then saw a shadow to his right. His hands went to his hilts. He glanced around, and a gust blew through the trees. A shadow again, this time to his right. He drew his blades, and the fairy that had led him darkened and fluttered away. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. For a moment he felt again at the arena in Erlas, shifting shadows around him, his blade in hand as Master Rooks watched over him. A nimble footfall was in the air. It moved with elegance, in silence, except for Kealin's attuned ear. It moved like an elf. He opened his eyes to see the carved edge of a wooden staff swinging toward his head. He jerked his blade up to catch it, and twisted his other blade in a thrust. Smack! There was another attacker behind him. He did a defensive spin, knocking back a total of 3 attackers. A thrown knife spun toward him, and he deflected it to the side just as an arrow whistled in the air. He ducked, and then rolled into one of the attackers. They stumbled. He made a low slash that was parried before he kicked the attacker. The wooden staff came diagonally down toward his head. He pushed off the staff with his blades and knelt down to the ground in preparation for another attack, scanning his sides. But now his attackers were still. A man stood off to the side with a large owl on his shoulder. He clapped twice.
Kealin of Erlas, half-elf of renown. Indeed it is you. We seek your help.
2. Scions. He stood up slowly, and the other 3 cloaked warriors lowered their weapons. The man with the owl approached him.
Please, we do not mean you harm, but we did have to test you. Perhaps you are as strong as they say?
The man bowed to him.
I am Ruach, of the Scions of Starfall, and I hope you will forgive our rash welcome.
Kealin sheathed his swords, but did not return the bow.
It depends on the true manner of your welcome. You fight surprisingly well. I did not expect to find ones like you in these dank woods on the edge of nowhere. I have been lost for hours trying to find my way out.
These are the lost woods of Resip. It is an enchanted region that spans both sides of the river and up into the elven lands of Figmark. It is a safeguard against those who would do us harm. Come, let us take you to somewhere more comfortable.
Kealin followed the small group calling themselves Scions. They proceeded down a bleak stone path that crossed the grassy glade.